Hey everyone, how are we doing? It is 5 p.m. your time, 4 p.m. my time. Who all is here and what questions are there? Let me know if you have questions in the chat right now. Maybe I'll go over like a few issues I've seen right now. A few just random things right here. Let's head over to the R Studio. But if you're here right now, feel free to swing by, say hey, and ask some questions. 201-320, welcome to ask questions. Let's do this. So one issue I've seen so far is people are using the core demo up here, which you can do with certain configurations. But if you're doing core demo, you probably want to do it down here at the bottom, and this will run it over here. You also don't want to include this code when you're knitting the document. That can cause a lot of errors. So you can make your correlation graphics right here and then click end. So that's kind of a common error I see right there. I'm trying to think what the other big errors I've seen. But that's probably the first big error I've seen right there where people are saying, hey, it just won't work, won't happen. Also, I sent out here we'll switch, well, I guess that's just a quick little thing, error with core demo right here. But from here, what I would do is, so just talking more about the core demo for a second, I'd run it down here in the bottom console. If you notice, I started a new instance of it. While you're running this right here, if you put in code, this code will not evaluate. It's just kind of paused your R, so you don't want to be putting in code right there while this is running. A lot of people will see that this is going on. You have to hit end. It'll then run all that code right there, which kind of is not the goal, but you want to run the core demo, and then you can run it right here. Now, what I usually do is I do everything right here, get my graphic going. This is just a random one right here. Then I go down here to snipping tool, and I use the snipping tool to get the screenshot of what I want, and that didn't capture the Y, so I'm starting over. You notice there I've captured the Y, I've captured the X, and I'm just going to take a screenshot of this right here, and I'll place that into like a Word document or anywhere else I want to put it. So just for the time being, I might store it over here in a Word document, and this will ensure I can then put it into my document afterwards. Make sure you've included your pictures or you will lose points. So all this good stuff right here, that is the core demo, and that's how to use it. Probably one of the best ways. There's lots of other ways, just depends on your configuration of R. Make sure you have the core demo turned off then, or else you will just continue to send code over here and you won't see it running. So that is the core demo. Let's head back to space. Trying to think the other big issue, I sent out the take home. Let's go take a look at the take home real quick and just talk about that, because a lot of good information. So the take home is posted, and let's just bring it over right here. And I'll be posting another assignment tonight to do Tuesday night. Stay tuned for that. And let's go look. And if you have questions right now, let me know. Holding these office hours for your questions, let me know. Just taking questions, everything going on right here. Let's do this. And let's head over to the main screen. So with the take home right here, you'll notice that we have an R data file. R data files are loaded by loading them in R Studio. These are not loaded in R. Like I've got this right here. Load the following. That's what happens when I do it late at night. Load the following environment in R, not R Studio. The following. Hey Brian, I'm doing great. Having a good weekend. Made a smoothie today. Nice, good. It was like almond and cashew milk, almond cashew chocolate milk with strawberries and bananas. It was really good. It almost tasted like a Wendy's smoothie, I swear. You might think I'm crazy here. But it about tasted like, not a Wendy's smoothie, a Wendy's quickie, or what are they called? I don't know. Thing you get at Wendy's. I'm having trouble opening the take home. Yeah, well, we're looking at that right now, Trace. Great questions. What you want to do is you want to go here and download this. Now, when you download this, you're downloading an R data file. An R data file needs to be open inside of R Studio. I've got mine set to open inside of R Studio. You'll notice here by the R with the circle around it, not the R that it looks different when it's for R. Yours might be opening by default into R. You can right click, file properties, and change that. Or we can go here to R and you can click that's a save workspace. This is a load workspace. So you need to load the workspace. Is this working for you right here, Trace? When you load the workspace, by go here to this will go through your folders and then load the workspace. Mine's set by default to load inside of R. So you need to make sure this is loading inside of R Studio. Excuse me, I said R for a second there. You need to make sure this is loading inside of R Studio like mine just did up there, not inside of R. Now, the most common mistake people do is they simply click this. You're actually viewing the function. Don't do this. This is viewing the function. This is not what you're doing. You're not going to be editing this. What you're going to do is you're going to go to make exam, make this bigger so everyone can see, and then you're just going to put in your student ID. We'll put in 345. And then that will make your file. You'll notice right here, exam, there's the file right here, create it for you, do Wednesday night, 6/16, all that good stuff. And here is your randomly created file, which makes sure, please, please, please make sure it's going to have your numbers stored up there at the top. Make sure everything you enter in is accurate, your number, all that good stuff. Do not share work with others. Where are you at right now on this trace? Have you got it created? Is it working? This should create this file. If you try to create it twice, it'll run into a bit of an error. It creates these data sets. I would also suggest saving your workspace right now to save these data frames. You could like save this and save it as like exam, workspace 1 or midterm exam workspace. And what saving this does right here is it saves all these data frames and the functions also. Anything over here in the brain will be saved if you go over here to save workspace. So you can delete the workspace with this. If you do that, you won't be able to go through the questions. But then it says, you entered this student ID, but also it's going to have your student ID up here at the top. So Trace, which part are you wondering about, or has this solved it? Is it now created? And it was creating all the data frames right there, all that good stuff. Hang on to this and make sure to turn it in. Q1 for the first question, enter in your student ID. Please make sure to enter that incorrect. Make sure to enter your student ID correctly into the form. If you do not, that'll cause huge problems. I'll probably be contacting you and being like, hey, all your answers are wrong. And you might be like, oops, I put an extra 1 on my number. And I would just go here and I would copy paste this because that's what you entered in. It's going to be right there and it's going to be right there. So which part are you on, Trace, and how does it look? And any chance we could work on number 4 on the assignment? Sure, let's take a look. I might do one part of that. Let's see what it is. And you bet. So I think we'll see if Trace is doing good on that. We'll hop back here to Spice. So that is the making your exam, your midterm exam right there. Ben wants to look at number 4 on the assignment. Let's go take a look at that. Let's see number 4 on assignment. Number 4. Oh my gosh. Assignment 4, a week and a half in. 5 assignments in, technically. We're opening assignment 4. Space. It's like, I think of like TV shows where like Space, the Final Frontier. They'll be like,
Space, the Final Frontier.
That's like my evil voice. I haven't done the evil stuff lately. What voices do we have real quick?
Voice.
Hello.
Hello. Yo.
Space, the Final Frontier.
I got to redo my voices. It's going well. Just relaxing, getting some work done, playing a little Horizon Zero Dawn, just having a good Sunday. It's a good, nice Sunday. Got the sniffles a little bit though. But went on a good walk, caught some Pokemon. It's all about that Pokemon. So Tiny Brian voice is the best. Yeah, he's voice number. I should put labels next to these. Let's see. I think he's this voice.
Hello. Yeah, this is Tiny Brian. I think this is right, Tiny Brian voice. He sounds a little robotic. No.
I think that's his voice. So yeah, and he's right over here.
Hey, how you doing?
Your computer lagged, so I'm at Pine. I'll let you know when 100%. Awesome. Keep me updated. Let's take a look at number 4 right here. What's it doing not having the... Brown, what you doing, man? Just need to put some blocks in here. Question number 4, I believe, is the Tyler Vigen site one. So we go here to Tyler Vigen Discover. Is that going to load? Oh, man, we got to input it ourselves. What is this? Like 1990? Awesome. So I don't want everyone to do the same ones I'm doing. You need to pick something like, let's look at miscellaneous variables. Sure. Number of revenue generated by arcades. The highest correlations is with lawyers in Wyoming. And what the heck? And then potato chips is correlated with that. I'm looking for an interesting one that really jumps out to me. See, those are getting weaker. I don't want to go too weak. Import price of uranium. What? Okay. So there's a positive correlation between the import price of uranium and... Oh, awesome. Great job, Trace. Excellent work, man. Great job. And the total revenue generated by arcades. So as you see, as total revenue generated by arcades goes up, which is in yellow right here, and it's like total revenue yearly. It's not a cumulative total because it does go down at times. You notice here as it goes up, the price of uranium goes up. This is about as spurious of a correlation as I could ever imagine. So there are some correlations on here I wouldn't say are completely spurious, but it seems to me in no way uranium, like the price of uranium, would be connected to the price of arcades. This just seems like something that over time from 2000 to 2008. And does this have enough data? This has it has 9 years of data. I think there's a requirement that I put in 12 years or more. So we don't have it. Don't use this one. You can't use that one. 9 years. Okay, let's just go find one that meets the requirement. I think none of them do. Well, that's a bummer. Okay, let's go pick a new one. Numbers of film Nicolas Cage was in. Okay, of course, the classic. Revenue for commercial space launches in Europe. So apparently, oof, that's looking weird. I don't like weird, jumpy ones. Let's go to the most negative correlated ones. Visitors to Tokyo Disneyland. Oh my gosh. Oh, I don't like the crazy things. There's the... Oh wait, these are negatively correlated. Average honeybee production by bee colony. Not the bees. Some classic not the bees. A little crazy to look at right here. It goes from 90 to 09. Negative correlation. So generally when we see Nick Cage in more movies, so you see him in a lot of movies right here, honeybee production went way down. Now it doesn't always, the correlation's not so great, but if he's in a few movies, then honeybee correlation's up. So there's a few movies higher honeybee correlation. What was he doing in 03, 04? But then when he jumps to a bunch of movies, you see all of a sudden the honeybees stop making honey because they're like watching some Nick Cage. So with this right here, this is 100% spurious, I would say, because I see no reason why there would be a lack of honeybee honey production by bee colonies based on Nick Cage movies. The only possible way this works is if people are losing time by watching Nick Cage movies. But then I would think there would even be a lag. Like, I'm going way too deep into this. I've totally gone into the Nick Cage just spiral right now where none of it makes any sense. So right here, this is completely and utterly spurious. We've got our 12 plus years of data. Is this making sense right here, Ben? The point of number 4 right here to discuss these ideas. And what we often see, report the 2 variables selected, include the plot. So you can do the URL. There's lots of ways to do this. One way, once again, just using snipping tool, I would just snip it and then I would put it into my document. So you could take right here. We need the correlation. You could also input. See, I should get good at inputting links too. I don't do a ton of, I'm more just like get it done in Microsoft Word kind of person at times. Like I'll knit my documents, but then I'll be like, I'm just going to throw it into Microsoft Word at the end. But we should be able to, it's got a permalink down here on the bottom of it. Shouldn't be, where's the link? Permalink right here. So that's the link to it. And if we go right here, we should be able to copy image address. Now, let's see what happens if we go and take this. Let's go over to the RStudio, and there's the spurious correlation. And let's drop it in. Let's see what it does. Is it doing it? Oh, wait. I think you put it right here, right? Doing it? Let me see. Insert. Can we work 5C next? You got it. So the 2 variables. Can you go over how to kill a squared? Yep. You're doing it. Ben, that's exactly right. Then make sure to interpret it. You take the value. Great job, Trace and everyone. Let's throw some 50 points out there. Why not? It's the weekend. Everything you're saying there. And Neela, you got it. We are doing those next. Let's do that one next here. Insert web page into our markdown file. Don't insert the full thing. Embedded web page. Is a knit thing? Include URL. No, wait. Include web image in our markdown. I probably need to... Someone's asking 2016 URL, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not what they want. What? They're doing it in such weird ways. Here's someone's doing Earth data science. Yeah, this is it. Path, alt text. Everything is correct. And so I must not have a proper copy image address. There we go. Just say, and then you could report it. So that'll report the PNG right there. And once again, it just puts it in line in your document. So that's nice and neat to see right there. I was like, what's wrong? For the takeoff, are we allowed to check answers? No, do not do that. Do not do that. Do not do that, Trace. Do not do that. Good question right there, Trace, but don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let's just to make clear once again. Do not do that. Yeah, a good question, Trace. Yeah, do not. All your work must be 100% your own. No checking answers with others. Don't ask others for help. I think I might have said that in the announcement of sorts. Like, do not talk to others. Don't just, yeah, to be clear again, you're allowed to ask questions, but don't talk to others. Maybe I should have said that, but like, don't. Because I was sending this out last night late at night. So here we'll take Neela's question right here next. But no, don't ask other people. Please do not. That'd be very, very good. Like the best thing you could say if I found out people were doing that is like, I didn't know, and I'd be like, that's bad. Don't do that. Thank you for asking for it though first, because then that confirms whatever you do, don't do that. Let's see right here, 5C. Let's look at 5C. Good questions. Ask all those questions. 5, 4. Ignore the numbers. Generate a scatter plot. Let's go generate a scatter plot right here. Let's go take a look. Generate a scatter plot that has a stream of points with an association with the stream outlier. Without the outlier, red dot, the stream should have a correlation. One thing you can see what this looks like if you go right here and click the markdown, it's a plus or minus. It's just LaTeX notation for plus or minus. Come on, LaTeX, you can do it. There we go. So you can see right down here at the bottom, you're going to see right here, the correlation is 0. So without the outlier, the stream should have a correlation close to 0. And with the outlier, it should have a correlation of at least 0.8. Now, let's bring up core demo. And remember, we're going to take screenshots of this. So how can I make a correlation close to 0? That's my first goal. So let's make a correlation close to 0. How am I going to make a correlation close to 0? Anyone help out right here? How do I make a correlation close to 0? How do I get a correlation really close to 0? Like when you think of correlation of 0. Now, there's many ways to do this. You could do... I'll do an interesting one here in a second, but there's many, many, many ways to do this. You could, yeah, I was going to do that next. Let's do that. You could do a parabola. Parabola works. Kind of look at your parabola as you do it. That one wasn't close enough. Just kind of adjust accordingly. That one's closer. You see, we're kind of getting to the sweet spot right here. Oh man, it's so close. I want it to be exactly 0. I'm never going to get it. There we go. Got it. But I don't know. Yeah, no, stream of points just means a bunch of points. Generate a scatter plot which has a bunch of points. Stream, don't worry, like stream doesn't mean like an actual stream of points. It just means a bunch of points. So parabola works perfectly fine because this has no linear correlation. It's perfectly flat if you put a line through it. So then where would something go to make the correlation like closer to 1? There's only one quadrant I would put this in. Really? Where would I put this in to make a correlation much closer to 1 now? To make the correlation a lot closer to 1, where am I going to put an outlier on here? Over here? No, that didn't do it. Maybe like right in here? Wow, it made exactly 0. I was aiming for that and I got it. Maybe right about here. Still 0-ish. Oh, so close to 0. Top right corner, that's going to really pull it in that direction. And oh, I'm so close. That would not get you the points. I might be able to... There we go. I don't like that we can barely not see that. But what you're going to... If you want to get a much stronger one that works a bit better, the box method works really well. A box has a correlation very close to 0. So a box is going to be, very, very... If I can draw like a perfect box, which I can't draw today... I just really want to get that close to 0 correlation. I'm just kind of shooting in the dark right here at this. Wow, I'm getting even worse. Wow. Last try. Wow, worse. No, this is so bad. It's so fine in here. And there we go right there. I mean, the correlation is basically 0 for this. And you could continue to make your box. Like you could fiddle with this right here to make it basically 0. It's just this will pull it down a little bit. This will pull it up a little bit. Just think about you're just doing fine adjustments. That was way too big of an adjustment. So you just got to do little adjustments in here. If you get the little there, we go. Oh, destroyed it. There we go. And now if you put one way out here, it's going to give a big change to it. This has got like no correlation in here. You could also make it look more classic, no correlation-y by doing the following and making like a circle. Classic like circle stuff is your classic no correlation. And now we could do the fine adjustments right here. It's a little positive, so I'm just going to bring it down a little bit right there. And there we go. And now we put right here an extreme point, and you get the no correlation down here with the 0. And then you get the extreme point over here. And that's just one of many, many, many ways. You could do like the reverse of this, which I really hadn't thought of till now. I'm just thinking more ways where you could go up here and do the same thing with a box. Wow, I actually got the box. And then you could go right here and do the following. So you can see there, without this point, you have no correlation. And then this pulls it, even though it's below it, it's creating a positive linear association. Or you could do the method of doing a box and really close. Need to go down a little bit, up a little bit, down a tiny bit. There we go. And then you go right here and you have the strong correlation. Does that make sense there, Nilay? Good stuff right there. Everyone doing well. We see how the kind of making correlations and how correlations should look. I do a meeting tonight. Good stuff. If you have additional questions, let me know. Yeah, and the idea of like what is no correlation and then how do we get strong correlation? You know, how does correlation work like this? Make sure you understand the values of correlations and what certain correlations look like. For question 4B and C, if I state in B, there's practical significance in part C, can I state that there is a lurking variable? Let me look at that. Let me take a look at that. That's a good question. 4B. Report the value of R, calculate R squared and interpret. Well, so for 4B, now R squared, you are correct, Trace, right there. Here, we'll go and take a look at this real quick. So for 4B, it's very important. I don't want to quite say it. I want people to take a look. I think some people know what to do for R squared. This is where people are going to lose points on the R squared right here. But reporting the value of R is correlation. Like, what is the value of correlation? And then R squared is R squared. And when you interpret its value, it's about the percent of variation Y explained by the variation X. I want you to take a look at the notes. It's also how you can say how far, knowing X gets you this percent of the way to knowing Y. So make sure you understand like how R squared is percent of variation in the Y variable explained by the X variable. You need to do it in context. So be very careful here. But this is the idea of practical significance. That is correct. You could comment on whether or not you think it's practically significant. But like all you have to do here is correctly interpret it. So don't worry too much about going into great detail on whether or not it is or is not practically significant. The big thing right here is the correct interpretation. And a lot of people will say things, here's the wrong types of answers. R squared is positive, strong, linear. I mean, in this instance, it is measuring a linear relationship, but we're not going to talk about it like correlation. A lot of people confuse R squared with correlation, and I'm like, no, R squared is not correlation. It's percent of variation Y explained by the variation X or model or whatever you're doing. So R squared is not correlation. That's probably the most likely way to lose points right there. We'll stop the plots. And then down here, the variable you selected, have a statistic or association that has also has practical since it's so strong. Explain whether you think this association is cause and effect, whether you think shouldn't assume by chance or yeah. So this is just a point of view one. One thing keys out B, what is our X and Y? Is X years and then Y are two. Oh no. So you make a good point right here. This plot right here is a time plot with both X and Y variable. So it makes it confusing because it's hard to tell if there's a negative correlation right here. For mine that I selected, it does have a negative correlation. I think I might have went away from that. So this does have a negative correlation. If you were to plot these numbers inside of R, they're separated by, it's messy data. I don't like that messy data. If you were to plot this data inside of R, you would see a negative, slightly linear maybe correlation. So although you're seeing right here, you are correct. It's almost like there's two variables on the y-axis, and you can pick which one because it's going to be really weird. Do you think there's a cause and effect between one of them where one would be the x and the other would be the y because the x would explain the y? Do you think it's spurious? Do you think there's a lurking variable behind this? This one right here is like I want everyone to try to do different things and interesting things. So really, there's just almost infinite possibilities on how this could go. And it's a very subjective answer. But if you try to tell me something like Nicolas Cage is causing honeybees, unless you literally add, haha, just kidding, like I'm messing around. I think this is a spurious correlation because there really is nothing going on right here. It's possible to get random chance correlations that are even slightly strong, but really have no practical significance because probably in the future we won't see this sort of relationship. Or the lurking variable could be time. There's times where like things just increase together. If you're talking about like, especially if you look at something like cheese consumption and milk consumption, if those two variables exist in the data set, well, then obviously they're going to be correlated because people generally are consuming more cow products with more cow products. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if we saw cheese consumption increase as milk consumption increases also, or any sort of dairy. So it's connected by the variable dairy consumption. And I'm not shocked by that. Does that make sense, Trace? Very subjective questions right here to kind of go over like what you think and if this is spurious, whether there's a real variable behind it, and your thoughts. It's good stuff right there. We'll head back to Spurious. Awesome work. Keep those questions coming. Keep those questions coming. We haven't played any music today. Oh my gosh, what did I hit? Oh, I hit two variables at the same time. How'd I do that? I think my thing's haunted. Will this kind of be like short end? It's tough. I probably won't have many quite like that on the exam. There's a lot of interpretation on the exam. This week will be very important for interpretation. Like Monday, Tuesday, if people are like, I'm just going to take off Monday, Tuesday. And then they're like, I'm going to take off Thursday, Friday because I just took the exam. Ooh, that's going to hurt the grade. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Be taking notes Monday and Tuesday. Be following along. Be having the interpretations down. Get ready for the assignment on Tuesday night. Very important for the test. Going over simple linear regression. And the test being on Wednesday. We'll kind of use Wednesday to review and kind of bridge into multiple regression. So we're going to start simple linear regression on Monday, Tuesday, finish it up, and then on Wednesday, use the concepts we learned to review on Wednesday, some of the newest stuff, and then use that to bridge into multiple regression. So every day this week is going to be super important. Like Monday, Tuesday is going to help prepare you for the test. Wednesday is going to prepare you for the test and bridge that gap into Thursday, Friday, which is when we start the new material, which is based off of what we do on Monday, Tuesday. Like simple linear regression, I mean, it's built. Next thing is multiple regression. So you have to know how to do regular, simple, one variable regression. And that's what we mean by simple linear regression is like one variable regression. And then multiple linear regression is going to be like multiple variables. And so the hardest questions and the ones I don't like to put on the exams are anything subjective. Like it's not too bad if I put like a 5 or 6 point question on the homework and maybe I take off a few points, but I don't want to put a very subjective question on the test where it's like, like, should I really be taking off like 3 points here? Or like, and people can always, on especially tests and quizzes or homeworks or anything, you can always be like, Brian, did I really lose points? Do you think I should have these points off? And then I'll look and I'll tell you what I think. I'll be like, yeah, you're right. You shouldn't have points off there. I don't think so. What other questions are there? We'll have an assignment due on Tuesday. We'll have an activity tomorrow, and hopefully, as everyone knows, we do the activities during class. We get them all done. That's been the plan. Thank you, Preston, right there, helping out with that plan. If you have questions, let me know. See if we can keep going here. We're going to go as long as we have questions. But remember, keep attending class. Keep working those activities. Keep asking those questions. And I'm just seeing so many people just impressing me right here. People working hard, getting everything done. Put on one more song right here. What are people thinking? See if there's any questions on Discord. No questions right now. Let's see. Well, if you have questions, let me know. I'm trying to think of more questions myself. Trace and Nile. So Ben, if you have questions, let's see. Well, Trace, do you have the assignment completed? I'm going to see if I have any email questions. Frontier just wants to talk to me. Well, I think that does it. Nearly kind of polishing up my answers and then checking. Awesome. Yeah, no, great work. I know you sent me one to check over. It was excellent. Top tier. Like I meant that I read over your R square interpretation was right on. You understand what's going on right there. And I think that's got it, Trace. I think hopefully everyone's getting the help they need. Please email me if you have questions. I saw I had 1 or 2 emails to take a look at after this. But keep working hard. Keep, when you're stuck, just ask for help. Say, hey, Brian, does this look right? But I think that's got it. We'll put on our end song right here. And yeah. Well, we'll see. I think everyone's doing all right. Not the longest assignment in the world, but a little tough. Sometimes the code doesn't run. Please check out the start of the video if you're watching this now and your core demo's not running. I went over that at the start. I'm probably going to go tag this video immediately. You're welcome anytime, Trace. And remember, just email me if you're stuck. Discord me if you're stuck. I think that does it. I'm going to head off right here, get a little more work done, get your assignments ready. But we'll be back tomorrow. I'll see everyone tomorrow midday. We're not too early in the morning. Noon for you guys, right? I'll see everyone soon. Bye for now, everybody. Bye. Have a happy weekend.